There have been literally, I mean, I had to, like last night's prime example, I'm like, oh, come on, this is not, I got to watch an NBA game tonight. Not gotta, but it's on. So I don't think that many people are even talking about the NFL right now. So I make NFL predictions. I think I make my first ones after I wait for the season to end, coaches get fired, free agency, NFL draft, and then I make a prediction. And then I wait for, injuries, preseason, then I make another prediction. We didn't have preseason, but we have had some players opt out. We have had injuries, not many, cross your fingers, not many. So I put out my NFL predictions. Now I'm going to make a couple of amendments. So AFC North, I had the Ravens going 16-0. Let's make it 15-1. They could rest starters at the end of it. I mean, there's a very good shot that if it's a veteran team, they could rest people in Week 17. They also play Kansas City 16-0. I still think they'll be the dominant team in the NFL. I still have them winning the Super Bowl, but I don't give myself any wiggle room. What if they lose to Kansas City early? I got to give myself a little wiggle room. It makes no sense. So 15-1. I'm also in the AFC South. I'm going to move the Titans up from 8-8 to 9-7. I do think Vrabel's a good coach. I think Clowney is very good against the run. And I thought a lot about this. I went and looked at their schedule. It's very beneficial early. Denver now has no Von Miller and no right tackle. That's a winnable game against the young quarterback. They get Jacksonville's tanking, and then a bunch of home games. Pittsburgh at home, Buffalo at home, Houston at home, Bears at home, Colts at home. I got to be honest, until mid-November, there's like 6 home games. And I'm like, you know what? They could go on a little run here. So I think I had the Chargers going into the playoffs at 8-8. The Titans are now 9-7. I have them as a playoff team. So I have the Bills, Ravens, Colts, Chiefs still winning their division. Boy, I don't feel great about the Broncos this morning. I may move off that one. Broncos a wild card team. Browns I feel good about as a wild card team. I'm going to put the Titans in as a wild card team. For the record, they finish 9-7 every year. So it's not a big gamble by me. But I do think Clowney, I look at just so many home games until mid-November. I'm going to go 9-7. All right, here's my other change today. And let's go with this. I'm going to take one win away from the Packers and give it to the Lions. So I had the Packers at 11-5. I'm going to have Minnesota winning it outright. Now, they were 13-3 last year. Everybody's bailed on Green Bay. I'm just pulling back a game. And here's where it is. Boy, their first 2 months, they face, and you can say what you want about Kirk Cousins. He's certainly capable. Kirk Cousins, Matt Stafford, Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, Deshaun Watson, Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo, more than half on the road. That is a rough early schedule. Now, I think they're going to win a lot of those games. It does lighten up later. But saying it lightens up, they still have to go to Indianapolis. They still play Philadelphia. They got to go to Detroit. They play Tennessee. Those are not gimmies for a team that sometimes Green Bay in the last couple of years gets pushed around when they play teams like Philadelphia, when they play physical teams like Tennessee, Indianapolis's offensive line. We've seen Green Bay get pushed around in games like that. So I still think Green Bay now. So the playoffs, it's not changing anything in the playoffs. Eagles, Vikings, Saints, 49ers win their divisions. Packers, Bucks, Seahawks. It's funny. I think the NFC is so much better than the AFC. I really feel strongly about my NFC picks. Outside of Kansas City, Baltimore, it's a lot of guessing. Do I trust Cleveland? I'm kind of trusting them. I don't know what I'm getting from Pittsburgh. I'm kind of down on Houston's nonsense. I kind of like Indianapolis, but Phillip Rivers moves like a batting cage. There's a lot of stuff in the AFC I can't get my arms around. We had no preseason. I want to watch it. NFC, I like my picks. I don't have any problem with it. I don't see a lot of dark horses. I just think there's too many good coaches, too many good teams, too many good quarterbacks that are going to win a bunch of games in the NFC. I think the NFC is better and much more predictable. Boost healthy testosterone. Leaving the NFL, he's just no good, despite playing for a franchise that has suboptimal quarterback, offensive line, ownership issues across the board, right? Like everything, we're talking now about them eventually becoming a team in London. Leonard Fournette now has Tom Brady as a teammate. And this is, for the record, all Tom Brady wanted. Can we just be a little aggressive in New England? Can we not always go after defensive guys? Can we go after offensive guys? Does everybody have to be a developmental player? Can you get me talent in their prime occasionally? And they would not. So Leonard Fournette, the number one high school running back, the number one college running back, goes to Jacksonville, and all of a sudden it's like, well, maybe it's the surroundings. We do this. We forget it. So yesterday he's talking about being with Tampa, and he slips in a shot. And it's matter of fact. He's not snarky. He's not over the top. He's just talking and stating facts, and he got some heat for it. Here we go.
I don't really worry about expectations. Football is football. I've been playing the same game for 25 years. And, for the first time in my life, I really have a quarterback. So that's an eye-opener for me. And not a lot of pressure is going to come on me. I guess it's going to be a lot of with me and him and a lot of other guys on the offense. But as far as, game planning and changing things, it's great for me. I'm happy to be back there with one of the greatest, the greatest that played this game. And I get to learn from him, too.
What about that was inaccurate? His last 7 quarterbacks, college and the pro, Foles, Minshew, Bortles, Cody Kessler, Danny Etling, Brandon Harris, and Anthony Jennings. Translation, the box is stacked, and everybody's staring at Leonard Fournette. Despite that, he's one of 3 players in the NFL that had 1,000 yards rushing and 500 yards receiving last year. Maybe you've heard of the other 2, Christian McCaffrey and Dalvin Cook. And now everybody's convinced he can't play. Are we forgetting where he's played at? I mean, don't get me wrong. McCaffrey has been more spectacular, but McCaffrey's got better teammates. Fournette caught 76 balls last year. Look at his quarterbacks. Look at the O-line. Had over 1,000 yards rushing. This is a tanking operation. In fact, per game, the most scrimmage yards per game in the last 3 years in the NFL. Here's the guys that are better than him. Zeke, Saquon, McCaffrey, Gurley, Le'Veon Bell, Dalvin Cook. All with better teammates. We forget this. The media has ho-hummed this. Oh, yeah, Leonard Fournette is really good. And for the last 6 years, college and pro has faced stacked boxes where people disregard everybody except him. Average to below average offensive lines. A team that is now, last year, was trading their best players away during the season. This is not a ho-hum thing. The dude can play, and I think this is what Brady always wanted. Can we just be occasionally aggressive in New England and go for it? This is a go-for-it move, and I'm surprised.